Hey guys, it's Jessica and I am here today to share with you my very first ever planner layout. So I have never done one before. I always really like the idea of using a planner, and I really love stationery and buying things that would help me get organized. But I'm going to be totally honest and say that I do a lot of wishful thinking when it comes to planning and organizing, and I don't have that great follow through. So I'm hoping to change that. I've got some things going on in my life that are really exciting and should lend themselves to planning a little bit more and kind of writing things down and keeping track of things like due dates and things like that. So I have some big news to share with you guys in just a little bit, but first I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my planner layout. So what I'm doing here is I actually printed off of just using like regular, well, this is actually cardstock, it's not printer paper, but I just put cardstock into my regular printer, inkjet printer, and printed off a digital stamp from the Craft and Desert Divas website. They have a huge library of digital stamps that you can choose from, and you can do pretty much anything with them, which is awesome because you can decide how big or small to make it to fit your layout, which is really cool. It's something that you can't do with clear stamps. So that's a huge added benefit. So I went ahead and downloaded this one. I printed it using my inkjet printer, like I said, and now I am just coloring it with some Copic markers. I first went ahead and drew an outline in pencil around where I wanted it to be cut out, and then I fussy cut it using some really sharp, delicate scissors, and this gives it the illusion that I have a die cut. So it looks like it would if I had a coordinating die for it, without the need to go ahead and purchase that. So disclaimer, as always, I am very, very new to Copic coloring, so don't judge me too harshly if my coloring is not the greatest. I'm still experimenting with color combinations and techniques to try to figure out how exactly to use these Copic markers, and I think I'm going to actually take some classes in the near future just to see if I can't up my game a little bit. So this color theme is actually made to match the September mood board challenge for the Craft and Desert Divas gallery on Facebook, and their blog. So I used the color palette and inspiration photos that they posted for the September mood board, and matched my planner layout to that challenge theme. So that's where the color inspiration came from, and all those colors look super cute together. So this super adorable fox is raking up some leaves, and I thought that was perfect with the cooler than usual temperatures we've been having the last few days. We've got some tropical storms coming through, so the temperatures have been a little bit lower than they normally would have been this time of the year. So fall weather is pretty much my favorite. And I am super excited for all things pumpkin and Halloween and leaves and oranges and yellows and all that. I really love fall. It's my favorite time of the year. Okay, so I have taken my planner, and I actually just got this one a few months ago, but I got it at Michael's. I used a coupon, so I ended up only paying like $15 for it, and I thought that was a pretty good bargain, given how much stuff is in it. It's got the whole year, it's got the nice sturdy front and back, the tabs, it's got like a bunch of stickers and I don't know, all kinds of stuff in the back. Okay, so what I've done here is I've taken some low tack tape and masked off one of the little boxes. I decided that I wanted to do each individual box rather than doing like the whole line or like going straight down the column. I don't know why, but it bothered me thinking about inking over that blue. Not to mention the blue is part of the mood board, so I didn't want to ruin that. Okay, so you can see I got a little bit of a tear there, but that is okay because I am actually going to put my little digital stamp right on top of it. So fear not, if you make a mistake, just keep going. Don't feel like you have to start over or throw it away or get flustered and just put it away and not think of it again. Just keep going because you can always find ways to cover it up and make it work for you. So I went ahead and did this for all of the squares. So the first color that I used was scattered straw. And I thought that that yellowish orangey sort of feel worked really well with the mood board inspiration colors. And then I went ahead and did the next color, which is Shabby Shutters. And again, that green is from the mood board inspiration photo. So I went ahead and masked off all of my little cubes or rectangles or boxes, whatever, one by one. And let me just tell you, it took forever. I have this super speeded up, and I honestly just skipped a bunch of it in a little bit. You'll see it go straight from the green to having the whole thing done. This took a really long time. So if you are in a hurry, this is probably not the technique that you want to do, or you could just simplify it and do all the way across. So instead of doing how I did it down the column, maybe you could do it across the row. That way you could do 3 boxes at once instead of having to do every single one individually. Because like I said, it took a really long time. I don't know. I had already started doing it, and I felt, well, I was committed, so I couldn't really change what I was doing. So I just toughed it out and did the rest of it. But if I had it to do over again, I may not have done it this way. But just something to think about. But like I said, that second color is Shabby Shutters. And I'm just using regular Distress inks, not Distress oxides, because I still wanted a little bit of the transparent sort of tone that you get with a Distress ink versus a Distress oxide. And with the Distress oxide, it's more opaque. Okay, so there you can see I did all of my little boxes. So Scattered Straw, Shabby Shutters, and then Hickory Smoke is the third color. And then now I'm just using some multi-matte medium or matte medium. I can never get it right. I think it's multi-medium matte. So I'm using that to adhere my little critter to the page. And then I decided I was going to go ahead and color his little leaf pile, because what is a fox raking leaves without the leaves? Who knows? Not as cute. That's what it is. Anyway, so I do have to apologize, because being left-handed, the way that I hold the Copic markers is the worst possible way for a tutorial video, because really you can't see anything that I'm doing. So if you want to watch my hand just scribble back and forth for a while and not be able to see what I'm coloring, this is the video for you. But yeah, so I don't know. However I learned how to hold a pencil probably wasn't the right way. But I cover up all of my stuff. And you know, when I was in school, when you had to use pencil, I always got like tons and tons of lead on the side of my hand, and it would just drag through the writing, and I would always smear my papers, and it was awful. But yeah, so sorry for the lack of visibility when I'm coloring. I'll have to try and see if there's something I can do about it, but I don't know. I'm not even sure how I can see when I'm coloring. So, things to question. So I did the same thing here as that I did at the beginning, which is I draw an outline around the stamped image, or this, in this case, printed image, and then go ahead and fussy cut it. Now, I got this tip about drawing an outline from a fellow design team member. Spoiler alert. Okay, so that's part of my big news. I recently applied for a design team position with Craft and Desert Divas for their digital design team, and you guys, I got it. I was offered a position, and I was so excited and accepted. So I have been going crazy, getting ready, and working on creating projects for this new team commitment. So one of the other designers who is also on the digital design team gave me an awesome tip, and that was to draw the outline around your stamped image first. And this goes for stamped images or digital stamps also, whatever you have. It just makes it so much easier to like make your outline and get an even cut when you have something to go off of versus doing it alone. And it made it so much easier for me. So thank you, Anna. I really appreciate the tip. Okay, so the next thing I did was some doodling. Again, this is from inspiration from that mood board. I'm going to be honest, I don't love the way that this part of the layout turned out. This doodling and also the next thing that I did, which was like a little banner up top. I think that maybe if I had moved the little plant thingy down to the next box down, it might have looked better, but as it is, it ended up looking kind of cluttered and like really busy up at the top, and I didn't love it, but for my first planner layout, I think it's okay. So you live and you learn, and next time I'll try to space it out more, but when I started doing the little doodling, I hadn't thought about doing the weekend thing, so it was just lack of forethought. Okay, so I just doodled it out with pencil, and I went through and I got a jelly roll pen. I tried that bottom part with white first because I thought maybe a subtle would be better, but it really didn't show up very well. So I went with the black, and then up here I did the brown for the banner for the weekend, and that's for the banner and for the text. I just made those little banner shapes, drew my letters on the inside, and then drew little connector pieces in between each little flag, and also a little bow on the outside of each one, or on the two outside edges, so that it looked like it was hanging from the planner. I also used some washi tape to make it look like my little critter was standing on some grass, and I added another one over on the right. Now, for a little bit of interest, because I thought it needed a little something extra, I just took a random stencil that I had on hand. This is like super duper old. I've had this for years, and I used it for painting, so it's really dirty because I didn't clean it. Guilty. But I just used it to add a little bit of interest. And I did this tone on tone, so I used the same color that I used before. And I just went over it a little bit heavier handed so that it gave me a darker color on top. And I thought that that just gave it a little bit of added interest without making it too busy and too cluttered, like if you had another color or something like that. Now this just made it nice. Then I can still write over it, and I won't have any trouble seeing my notes or my to-do lists and whatever, but I still have that pop of something more interesting than blank. Okay, so I took a colored pencil in both brown and gray, went back through and just kind of filled in those little pieces because I thought they needed something to make them stand out just a little bit more. Okay, so the very last thing that I did was a little bit of hand lettering. As I said, fall is my favorite time of the year, and everything like Halloween, I don't know, everything just makes me so happy about fall. So I decided to do just a little piece of hand lettering with brush lettering, I should say, with my Tombow dual brush pens, and I just wrote out sweater weather. And I did a little practice there on my scrap paper before I went ahead and put it into my planner. So once I kind of knew what I wanted it to look like, I went ahead and put it directly onto my layout. And I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out, especially for only having done it once beforehand. I'm getting a little bit more confident with my hand lettering, which is exciting. There's still a lot I have to learn and way more practice to be done, but it's really exciting to see my progress versus where I started to where I am now. I can definitely tell a difference, and even though it's not perfect, I've already come a long way, so that's pretty exciting. And then I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of white gel pen accents to my lettering just for added interest again, something to make it pop a little bit. So I added some dots here and there, like I said, just for a little bit of interest. And then I did decide to go back and add just some white outlines to the word weather. So you'll see me do that here in just a second as well. And that is the very last thing that I did for my layout, so that completes it, and you'll get to see a full view of it here. Like I said, it's my first planner layout, so it's not probably the most exciting that it could be, but I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out. And I got to use some really cute digital stamps in a way that I hadn't used things like this before. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and this inspires you to create something, whether it's a card or a planner. I really hope that you guys will join me in my adventure as a new digital design team member for Craft and Desert Divas. I am super excited to be a part of the team, and I'm really excited to see where this adventure takes me. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.